quite well, actually.
Thanks, Geoff, for agreeing to be filmed. Just a quick introduction of yourself.
Geoff Livingstone. I'm a production manager for Intergen. In a previous life, I was a site manager for Alstom Power, working all over the world for them.
Tell us a little bit about the D2I programme, the dependent to interdependent programme you did with Beehive, and how that's impacted on safety from your own perspective as both a site manager and now as a production manager.
The main difference, or the main impact for me, was during my periods working abroad in cultures that may not have the level of maturity in health and safety that we see in the UK. Where their safety culture was basically responsive and reactive, where the basics were not there, so their culture was not for health and safety, it was basically around survival. It allowed me to look at me as the individual that was responsible for health and safety, but to break down my responsibilities, to highlight those responsibilities, and then to highlight where I had deficiencies that could be improved. It broke it down into a structure where I understood my behaviours as a leader, allowed me to develop my positives, but mostly to identify where I had work to do, and allow me to identify those and work on those. It also gave me a platform to demonstrate to others, whiteboards and presentations and safety stand-downs that give me more authority, so I knew I was a subject matter expert to them in certain areas, which obviously give me greater credibility going forward. For me, that was what allowed me to start changing and influencing even cultures within certain regions. In particular, there is an example in a power plant in the north of Jordan, where on day one, PPE compliance for the customer was of about 10%. The best was if somebody came with a pair of safety shoes. By the time we'd finished in 10 weeks, we had 100% compliance. Now that 100% compliance was made by various different tools that were used, that I picked up from the course. One being that we are the example. So as a customer, they looked at us as being the leader. Our PPE compliance had to be 100%. We had to walk tall, proud all the time. This was recognised. But simple things such as encouragement by giving small prizes for good PPE or HSE attendance. We would give a pair of cheap but effective safety spectacles. Once they were worn, it was seen as a badge of honour. Everybody wanted them. The emphasis on health and safety came up because there was a reward. The second reward I did, which I enjoyed more, was a certificate saying that the individual had applied the highest levels of health and safety. This was a certificate that was laminated, had signatures from myself and from the supervisors, and these were handed off in a presentation each morning to the guys. There was rounds of applause. It was very, very highly regarded by the individuals and by the plant management team. And we saw within that 10-week period of working with these guys a total role reversal in their attitude towards health and safety. To the extent that at the end, the plant manager invited me for a cup of tea and said that the change that he'd seen in 10 weeks was something he would never have imagined. What that does is to say that from being basically reactive, they were now up the Bradley curve and starting to understand their role within their own safety culture. So a huge change. To me, very, very proud of that. And to be a small influence, that it came to the point where they were telling us about their health and safety concerns, not us policing them as health and safety.
Fantastic.
It was a massive change and a great accomplishment for Alstom.
Fantastic, thanks Geoff. Could you put a cost on that, a financial benefit on that?
You very much can. The first thing that happened was that this plant was owned by the government in Jordan, had to generate. They were on very tight budget. We achieved their budget. We came in 2 days under, because the health and safety and quality go together. I've always had a saying: you can do a poor job safely, but you cannot do a good job unsafely. So the two marry together. So you have to set everything up to be delivering a quality product, and that's what they did. We got the health and safety right, quality soon followed. That meant that the project came in on time. We had no delays due to reworks, and everybody was very happy. When you look at the position I'm in now as production manager, to bring a project in 2 days early and to get back on the generating market as a merchant plant, you're talking six-figure sums. It's of that scale. So safety leads to quality, quality leads to timescale achievement, that leads to financial return. Fantastic.
Thank you. And one final question, which is, you did the first module up in the Lake District at Brathay.
Yeah.
How did you find that aspect of the programme?
The location, fantastic. Probably I recognise that now as being a golden moment in my life. The environment, the people, the challenges we were given. Some of them did push us out of our comfort zone, but it was with enjoyment, it was with smiles, it was with laughter. To be able to row on Lake Windermere is something I never thought I'd be able to do, but was achieved. It was the location itself. I can't think of a better place to do it. The content was always high paced. We were challenged. Some people found the challenge too great and voiced that. But to me, the challenge to be challenged on health and safety, to start looking inwardly to us. And as I said, when I came out of there and we had the debrief at the end, the one thing that to me is important is we probably have already saved lives. We have already probably made people's quality of life better, but we'll never know it because we've prevented that domino falling over by going to Brathay, by going through the course, and by understanding the content of the course and coming out, my personal opinion, better people for it.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic.